Scott, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we are here to talk about your short film Cheeseburger. Now, how did that all come about?
God, we're going back a bit now because it's been a few years since we made that one. I think really it was just sort of one of those where, you know, I was growing up as someone who's trying to sort of like, at the time, trying to like date and find love in sort of like the modern day, and I wanted to make a film that really commented on sort of how difficult it can be to meet someone nowadays and how online dating has become so prominent, and, you know, the actual human connection aspect has kind of been lost a little bit. So I thought I'd make a film about sort of this awkward character who was somewhat based on myself and then somewhat based on sort of like what I'd seen of other guys going through a similar thing, about this awkward young man who's sort of preparing to meet this girl for the first time in real life. They've been together for a while online, but their relationship has existed purely online up until now, so it's all about them trying to meet in real life and sort of see if that connection's really there.
But why did you think it was important to make a comment?
I don't know, I just think it's interesting. I mean, I always go back to a quote by Ricky Gervais where he said, sort of write about what you know. And I've tried to write scripts in the past about things that were completely away from anything I've experienced before, and you can always tell, I think, when you can see a writer and their work, if it's something they actually know about or not. So I thought, let me write about something that sort of like is quite important to me, something that I've experienced myself. And I think that's why the film was sort of like quite successful, is because it was based on something that I knew quite a lot about, and it wasn't me writing a film about something I had no idea on.
Because you've got to say, I mean, it did well at the festivals, didn't it?
Yeah, I think to be fair, it's our best performing film at festivals to date. I think we've obviously done films since then that we'd consider stronger, but I think in terms of like festival selections and the awards we won, I think it's probably the most successful we've had.
Yeah, maybe because of the quirkiness.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Because let's be fair about it, I mean, the guy is awkward, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, yeah, like you said, the quirkiness. So often now in these film festivals, it's just drama being submitted. So I think something that was like a little bit lighter, had a comedic aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
And there was obviously the scene on the bus with two other actors, Luke, and then we had your friend Ian come along for the day, and there was that awkward encounter between them on the bus.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which is, again, something that probably we've all been through in life at least once, where we've been sat sort of by ourselves and enjoying our own space, and then you have someone who comes and sits right next to you when there's loads of empty seats. It's like a urinal thing, when you're on the urinal and someone comes and uses the one right next to you.
That bus was empty, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely empty. We didn't have a single extra anyone else on there apart from Luke, so we had the entire bus to choose from. Chose to sat. So it's like those awkward real life scenarios that I think people can relate to, and I think that's maybe why it was quite successful. Yeah,
I think the thing that I liked about it was that the characters were all believable in it. You know, I mean, how did you get hold of Ian?
Well, Ian's obviously a contact of yours, which I'm sure you'll talk about in a second, but is someone who's just never shy of being on camera. Someone who automatically, when we spoke about him, was like, yes, he'll be perfect. Just perfect for that role. I love the fact that he's just sort of so ignorant to anything that he doesn't realise when he sits on that bus that he's like causing any inconvenience. It's just something he does every single day. It's just the same thing he does every single day. Yeah. And even after, when they get off the bus, they sort of like look at each other, and he's like, what have I done? Like, and that's basically Ian summed up, I think, isn't it? Like, he's just an absolute character. And also, like, we've always said to each other, we want to work with people who bring a good energy to set and are friendly people. And Ian's just a sweetheart, came to set and was just happy to help out. He sat in patience and waited as we got sort of set up. And, you know, you're always worried about bringing actors on set and them being divas or being sort of arseholes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can say that. But someone like Ian is just, you could have him on every set and it'd just be a joy to work with every time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you did, on the B-roll.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's just explain. What is B-roll?
So I think B-roll is sort of just like any sort of like secondary footage, which isn't exactly sort of like key to the story or the main camera, but sort of like cutaways that can provide like filler. They can sort of, filler. There can be like a bridge between scenes and whatnot. It can also be sort of like behind the scenes stuff, I guess you could class as B-roll, depending on sort of how you define the term. So anything I think that isn't sort of like central to the plot that's being shot.
Because did you get much Bloopers. Did you get many bloopers?
We had a few, yeah. Especially the bus scene, of course, was quite a difficult one to get. Just because of the bus was completely empty, and we were obviously all behind the camera, and then in front you've literally just got those two actors sat right next to each other, and Luke being like squashed against the window by Ian. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of bloopers there. To be fair, aside from that, not a lot. There's a sequence with Luke at the house. You could probably overlay this over the top. There's a sequence of Luke at the house where he's sort of doing like a bit of a workout routine. And we got some bloopers there that were quite funny. Him doing like press-ups in his boxes and stuff was quite good. But for the most part, we were pretty on it. I think we only had about 3 or 4 days to shoot the entire thing. So
yeah, because there were lots of close-ups, wasn't it? It was really tightly shot.
Yeah, that was the idea. I think from the off. From obviously the conversations we had with Ben, it was always going to be like that, where it's like it's a character film, it's driven by this character, so we want to see him in as many different ways as possible, but with the camera always in his personal space. It just adds to sort of the anxiety that he feels, to sort of his lack of confidence, and he's a very self-conscious character. I think it's sort of added to with that.
Where did you get hold of Luke then?
So Luke originally, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, was a last-minute replacement for the first film we did together under 4am Pictures, which was Restroom, when we had our actor drop out about midnight the night of shooting. And Luke was the only person, I say the only person, it was about 1 a.m, and I was just scouring through actors' profiles and pages on Facebook and whatnot, forums, and I managed to find Luke's profile, and I dropped him a message. He happened to be awake, and thank God he was. And the funny thing is, I like to remind him about this, is that we only had about 50 quid in our budget, and he said he'd only do it for 100. And I said, Luke, we just haven't got that money. And I just remember him being like, well, you have to find someone else then. But he knew full well it was like 1 a.m, and we weren't going to find anyone else. So lo and behold, we forked out the extra 50 quid for him in the end. So it's funny to talk about that. He was a last-minute replacement, came onto Restroom set, was only a small part in that film, but still a professional, really keen to sort of be involved with future projects. Just everything you want from a young actor, really. Someone who's like hungry for the work, and doesn't really matter what they're doing at that point in their career, like what the roles are. Just hungry to work and hungry for any sort of action they can get. So it was great in Restroom, and then we ended up doing a few films together after that, and Cheeseburger was one of them.
Because he'd done really well out of this one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And it's great for him as well, because I think with the films we've done with Luke, we've done a lot of different genres now. So in terms of his showreel purposes and the performances he's done, there's a range there. It's not like we've just done purely horror or drama or comedy. We've sort of mixed between them. And I think that'll really help Luke. I hope it really helps Luke in the long run, because it'll mean he can go for different characters and different roles.
Yeah, no, I think he will. Because the other thing is, he's doing the actors' workshops and everything else, which is good. But let's just talk about very quickly. You mentioned about scouring through Facebook pages and everything else. Where do you normally get your characters from?
Yeah, at the moment we use Mandy a lot. I just think it's easily accessible. It's free to have a platform on Mandy as well. You can search for actors and search for different demographics. It's very specific with the filters you can put in, so you can search for like a specific area, a race, height, age, anything like that. You can also post a job listing on Mandy and have people apply to it. So it's a good way to get connected with actors. I think you've always got to be careful, because obviously with it being free and a free platform available to everyone, you're going to get people who aren't maybe so serious about it, who've just thrown themselves on there for the sake of it. But then you will also get the professionals on there who are really keen to be involved with good projects. So you have to sort of filter through some of the bad eggs to find sort of like the right actors and the right crew. But Mandy's a good one. And then other than that, word of mouth and just asking people like yourself or other contacts in my network who they know, if they've got someone in mind, and then you soon find that people come forward. And we've been quite lucky, actually, I think. I
mean, with regards to all the projects that we've done, they really are on a shoestring, aren't they?
I don't think we've had Hamster was our biggest in terms of budget yet, and I think we just about scraped $5,000 maybe, and that was our biggest by a long way. I think if you took that away, Hamster, wouldn't even know which was the one after that. Maybe like 500 quid, 600 quid was our max. So we have done them on practically nothing, and I think one of the best comments we got from Hampstead in that screening we done was that people were saying, "Oh, it doesn't look like it was done with £5,000. It looked like it would have been 50 grand or whatever."
Yeah, right.
And that's always a good compliment because you're like, right, well, it showed we've got the good production value with no sort of real budget. You know, we had that £5,000, but that soon went on our sort of like our accommodation, transport, a few locations and stuff like that, food. But the fact people were saying, "Oh, it doesn't look like it was done with no budget," and we had pyrotechnics as well. We had to fork out for, like, really, I think we've done pretty well with nothing.